start with a couple of doubts from Shikhar, which is from assignment 1 earlier. Right, Shikhar, the doubts are from assignment 1, right? Not from exercise 1 of your... Yeah, it's from the assignment 1. Okay, okay. So question number 10 and 11. Okay, let's go through that. So question 10 is saying that there is an object whose mass is given to us. Okay. And there are two forces acting on it. So Shikhar, in this you have to just apply vector algebra. See, force F1 is given in component form. Force F2 is given in component form. So the net force is just the sum of these two. So the force is 2 I cap minus 3 j cap. This force is 4 I cap plus 11 j cap. These are in newtons. So from this you calculate the net force, which is the vector sum of these two. It's a very easy question. So that is 6 I cap plus 11 minus 3. So that's 8 j cap. Okay. So that's in newtons. So if the net force is so much, the acceleration is net force divided by mass. So that's 1.5 I cap plus 2 j cap. This will be in meters per second square. So that's it. You have found the acceleration. Now you want to find the magnitude. Just find this, etc. Whatever is required, you can find. Okay. Similarly, you want to find the velocity after 2 seconds. Just use this relation. When acceleration is constant, okay, or you can convert this to a scalar equation, etc. Okay. Similarly, displacement versus time, etc. So hope the question is clear. No, you don't need to write the whole thing. Just tell me HC Verma question number. Yeah, I will discuss, Krupa. I'll come to that. Okay. So Shikhar, this question is clear, I hope. Okay. 11th question. 11th question is a question of differentiation. Okay. Question 11, what is happening? That the velocity of a body is given to us. It's like this. It is V naught. Okay. So you have to find the momentum of the body when the velocity is 0. Oh, sorry. When the force is 0. When the force acting on a body is 0. Okay. So from this, basically, you find acceleration. Okay. So that is differentiation of this term. So that is this. Okay. So this is the acceleration. So from this, force is equal to ma. So force is 0 at t equal to plus minus 2 seconds. So obviously we'll take plus 2 seconds. Minus 2 seconds doesn't. So now you find momentum is this. Now you just put t equal to 2 seconds and find the value. Right, this is clear. Okay, so now let's come to HC Verma. So from the Newton's laws chapter from HC Verma, we will start with question number 12 on page 79. Just go through it, I'll explain it. So what is happening in question number 12 is that you have this kind of an arrangement. Okay, so it says that a person of okay, so you have to find. So if these people are pulling him up very slowly, so this person is moving very slowly, so his acceleration will tend to zero because he's being pulled up. You can say this is mass m. Slowly. So slowly means his acceleration is tending to zero. Okay. So that means the net force on his body should be zero. So these guys are applying some kind of force on the rope, equal from both the sides because the thing is symmetrical. So the amount of force they are applying is equal to the tension in the string. Okay. And you can see in his free body diagram, there is tension acting like this, there is his weight acting like this. So if these two angles are theta, you can see that acceleration tending to zero means 2t cos theta is equal to mg. Okay, so say this was your first equation, this was your second equation. So solving these two equations now, you will get that the amount of force they have to apply is mg by 2 cos theta. Okay, now you can see that as the person is going up, okay, what is happening to theta? It is increasing. So theta increases as he moves up. So therefore, cos theta decreases. Therefore, F increases. So that is what you have to show, that the force increases as it goes up. Okay, now you have to also find this amount of force at an instant when its depth from the top of the pit is h. So you have to find the force when the depth of the person is h. So just geometry. You have to use this formula only, but in this you have to find this theta at the moment it is given to you that this depth is h and the width of the ditch is anyway given to us as d. So this whole thing is d. So you can see from here, this is d by 2, this is h. Okay. So cos theta is h divided by square root of h square plus d square by 4. So substitute that here and you will get the force. Why F is equal to T? Because the string is massless, Shikhar. So whatever force is being applied at one end, we've discussed this before also. If you apply a force like this on a massless thread, then from this point's free body diagram where you're applying the force, you can see F is equal to T. Okay. Any other questions from HC Verma exercise, main exercise? I know some of you are asking me for short answer questions and all that, but I'll come to that. But those are not really so important. It's the main exercise questions I've been asking you to work out. So please tell me if there are any doubts in that. Otherwise, we'll do some of the questions here in class today. Question number 5, okay. 6, okay. So is this question clear to all of you? Yes, Ani, I'm coming to that. Okay. So same page, question number, I mean previous page, question number 6. So given to us is the speed versus time of a particle moving. So this is a graph based problem. So we have to just find the slope of the graph and from that the acceleration. So whenever a velocity or speed versus time graph is given, we can always find the acceleration from the slope. So that graph is like this. So the velocity is increasing from 0 to 15 meters per second. In time 3 seconds. Then from 5 to 8, you can see the slope, that is delta V by delta T, or you can say dV by dt is equal to acceleration. So from 0 to 3 seconds, you can see that the acceleration is plus 5 meters per second square, because this time is in seconds. Then from 3 to 5 seconds, the acceleration is 0. And then from 5 to 8 seconds, there's a deceleration. Okay. So now just use F is equal to ma. Right, understood, Shikar? Okay, now somebody had some doubts in the Sanya, question number 15. Okay, let's come to question 15. This is a important problem, pseudo force related. So just go through question number 15. I'll explain it to you. Slope beta, Viraj, from the slope y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. When we have a graph like this, a velocity versus time graph, the slope is for a straight line. Just apply it to this point and this point, like that. Have you understood, Viraj? Yeah, service, I will come to the solved examples later because the solutions are already there in that. First, we'll do all the questions which people have doubts in, the actual numerical problems which don't have solved, like, don't have solutions given. Okay, let's come to this question 15. So question 15 में क्या हो रहा है? It is that elevator type of problem. Your elevator is accelerated upwards, and this is given to us as g by 10. Okay. And inside the elevator, you have your spring mass system, your block and tackle system, or simple Atwood machine. Now this is a spring balance. So what does a spring balance do? The job of a spring balance is to measure weight by measuring tension. So spring balance, the reading it gives you is mass m, but basically the tension is equal to mg. So it gives you the reading as the tension divided by the value of g. Okay, and the tension equivalent. So this is the normal functioning of a spring balance. Here we are putting it on a pulley. Okay, so it will actually read 2t. So the question of the concept of spring balance is clear. Oh, I'll come to that also. So this is question number 16. Okay, I'll come to question 15 also, Samar. Okay. But anyway, question 16 has also been asked by Dhruv. So let's finish this first since we are in this already. Then we'll come back to question number 15. Okay. So so यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? The spring balance, Dhruv, you can see in this particular case, the spring balance is attached to the pulley. Okay. And there's a massless pulley. So if the tension here is T, the tension in the spring balance will become how much? It will become 2T. Let's say this T prime. So that is 2T. Because it's a massless. Okay. So the reading of the spring balance, that will be T prime divided by G. So that will be nothing but 2T divided by G. So to get the reading of the spring balance, let's say that's N. That reading of the spring balance, we have to find out T. Okay, is this concept clear so far? Okay. Sanya, this was only your doubt. Dhruv and Sanya, is this concept first of all clear? कि spring balance का reading क्या होता है? It basically reads tension, but it gives the answer in terms of m, the equivalent amount of mass. So much tension is equivalent to how much mass. So divide that by g. Okay. So Dhruv, you are also clear with this? Okay. Now tension कैसे निकालेंगे? So the easiest way to find tension is to solve the free body diagram of M1 and M2 in the non-inertial frame. So M1 is given as 1.5 kg. M2 is given as 3.0 kg. So suppose with respect to the observer who is inside the elevator, with respect to this observer, you're seeing that this is coming down with A and this is going up with A. So A is the acceleration of M2 downwards, M1 upwards with respect to the elevator's frame. Okay. So that is in the non-inertial frame. So one way we can solve for tension now is to make the free body diagrams in that non-inertial frame. So in the non-inertial frame of the elevator, which is going up with an acceleration of A naught given to us as g by 10. So the block M1 is going up with an acceleration because of forces T, M1g and pseudo force. So that pseudo force will be its mass into acceleration of the frame, but direction opposite. Okay. Then on the other hand, M2 in the same frame will have similar forces acting on it, but M2 is accelerating downwards. So इसके लिए इक्वेशन क्या हो जाएगा? and for this one the equation will become, okay, so now let's just substitute the values. So equation 1 will become T minus m1, which is 1.5 kg, into G plus a naught is equal to 1.5 a, and second equation will become 3 into G plus a naught minus T is equal to 3a. So now to get the value of tension, what we can do is we can multiply this whole equation by 2 and compare the two of them. So compare 2 times equation 1 and equation 2. So you'll see, if you compare these two equations, the right hand side is same, 2a, 3a. So 3a equals 2t minus 3 times G plus a naught. In the other equation, it equals 3 times G plus a naught minus T. So equate these. So 3T equals 6 times G plus a naught. So T equals to 2 times G plus a naught. So tension equals to, that is, the tension. So therefore the spring balance reading that was equal to 2T by G. So the spring balance will show you a reading of 4.4 kgs. Okay, so this is an important question for your understanding of pseudo force. So I'll just briefly explain the concept of pseudo force again, also for the benefit of Archit and others who are asking. But just go through the application of pseudo force in this. Most probably you'll understand. Okay, Ranak, very good. I'll come to question 28 also. So just go through this once. Also the equation solving part, okay, which comes after that last part which I've shown. But in that last part, equation 1 and 2, just try to solve them yourself only. Yeah, I'll solve question 15 also. But before that, I'll just briefly explain pseudo force. So anyway, Sania and Dhruv, this question is clear, no? Okay. So Archit, are you there, beta? Yeah. So Archit, see, I'll explain the concept of pseudo force again. And then we'll come back to the application in this question. Okay. So what happens that if we are in a reference frame which has acceleration with respect to ground, then we say we are in a non-inertial frame. So first of all, non-inertial frame क्या होता है? It is a reference frame moving with non-zero acceleration. Okay. See E naught with respect to ground. Okay. So it could be a reference frame that is moving like this. It could be a reference frame that is moving like this, whatever. But it's moving with some acceleration with respect to ground. Okay. And then what happens is a body of mass m inside a non-inertial frame will experience a pseudo force given by the equation minus m into a naught. Okay. Or the magnitude of the pseudo force is ma naught and direction opposite to e naught. Okay. So when we make the free body diagram of that body, so from the free body diagram in the non-inertial frame, we will say that the net force acting on it plus the pseudo force equals to m into a, where now the acceleration of the body is the acceleration with respect to the non-inertial frame. Okay. So this is the concept of pseudo force. So Archit, is the definition clear of pseudo force and non-inertial frame? Okay, I'll explain again. Yeah, Archit beta, are the two definitions clear कि non-inertial frame क्या होता है और pseudo force क्या होता है? Yeah, I'll come to the last one. But these two definitions are clear. What is a non-inertial frame and what is pseudo force? These two things. Okay. Now Shikhar and Archit, see what's happening. The last equation, it is just a modified form of Newton's second law. So what's happening? If we have a body in which in inertial frame there are n number of forces acting, let's say F1, F2, like this. So it will have some kind of an acceleration, let's say something like this. And Newton's second law, we will say that the net force acting on it is equal to mass into acceleration, because mass is constant. So that net force is basically what? It is the vector sum of all external forces acting on the body. Okay. So this F net, it is the vector sum of all external forces acting on the body. Okay. And on the other side, what is E? E is the acceleration of the body, but with respect to ground. Because we are in the inertial frame. So even if we are in a moving frame, it has no acceleration. So whatever acceleration we are seeing of the body is the acceleration with respect to the ground. Okay. So this is Newton's second law in the regular form in inertial frame. Right. Now let's see. We have a modified second law for application in non-inertial frame. What is happening is the moment our observer is having some acceleration. So what will happen is that same body, apart from all the real forces acting on it, or apart from all the external forces acting on it, will also experience a pseudo force. Okay, and that one's magnitude will be equal to ma naught. But as a vector quantity, it is opposite to a naught. So the direction of this is shown opposite. And what will happen is in this frame, we'll be seeing a different acceleration of the body. We'll be seeing a relative acceleration relative to the non-inertial frame. We'll be seeing that. Okay. So the modified form of Newton's second law, वो क्या हो जाएगा अभी? This will become that F1 plus F2 plus going up to Fn. These are all the external forces. Plus, in addition to that, the pseudo force. That is equal to mass into acceleration. But which acceleration? The relative acceleration. So this thing only, the summation of all these forces, we say is the net force. So the net force plus the pseudo force is equal to m into E prime. This is the modified form of Newton's second law. So Archit and Shikhar, is this clear now? Okay. Now you people have studied the concept of relative acceleration na? In kinematics. Relative motion पढ़ा है थोड़ा सा. नहीं, relative acceleration is acceleration with respect to the non-inertial frame. Okay. So see, coming back to that earlier question, na, I'll explain relative acceleration. I'll explain क्या मतलब है इसका. Yeah, so I'll come to question 15, 29, 28, all these things. Okay. But just it's something important all of you will understand better from this next explanation I'm giving. So देखो यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है in this particular system that we just had, okay, where the elevator was going up at g by 10. Okay. So m1 was 1.5 kg, m2 was 3 kg. Okay. What we had done is we had seen the whole problem from the point of view of this observer. So let's say he is observer A. Okay. So for observer A, who is in the frame of the elevator, okay, what we had seen is that the acceleration of this body was A upwards and this was A downwards. Okay. That acceleration, let's find out what it was. So the equations were, if the tension in the string was T, so we had the equation T minus M1 G plus A naught was M1A, and for that one we had M2 into G plus A naught. This is the same equation that written above, so don't worry about this equation, you can check it out later. Okay, so if we solve this for acceleration now, if we just add these two equations, you will end up solving it for acceleration, and you will get the relation that this acceleration was m2 minus m1 upon m2 plus m1 into g plus a naught. Okay, so this will come out to be 1.5 upon 4.5 into g plus g by 10. So you will get 11 by 30 g. So ये जो acceleration है, ये कौन सा acceleration है? This is the acceleration of m1 upwards or m2 downwards. Okay, but as seen by the observer E. So it is the acceleration, so it is relative to the elevator's frame. You're understanding this point here? Because we've solved this in this frame, so it's with respect to that observer. So what this observer inside the lift is saying is that, okay, this object is going up and this object is coming down, but with this much acceleration relative to himself. Okay. Now, if we use the concept of relative motion, so क्या हो रहा है? This lift going up at E naught, इसके रिस्पेक्ट में ये वाला बॉडी जो है ऊपर जा रहा है एट E, और ये वाला बॉडी नीचे आ रहा है एट E. So now if we have a second observer who's on the ground, if we have second observer B who's on the ground, so what will happen in B's frame, that is a ground frame. Okay, what is m1's acceleration? Let's say e1. Now m1 is going up at a, already inside a box which is going up at a naught. So net acceleration in ground frame कितना हो जाएगा? A naught plus a upwards. So that will be g by 10 plus 11g by 30 upwards. So e1 will become, if you just take the LCM and solve, it will become 14 by 30 g or 7 by 15 g upwards. Okay, and m2's acceleration will become, now see, m2 is coming down with a, but in a frame which is going up at a naught, so its net acceleration will be a minus a naught downwards. So a2 will be so 11 minus 3 will give us 8. So these two accelerations are in which frame? They are in ground frame. They are with respect to ground. Whereas this acceleration upward, and this is in which one's frame? Elevator's frame. Okay, so have you understood the difference between what we mean by saying non-inertial frame, or relative to some frame what is the acceleration, versus relative to ground what is the acceleration? Is this concept clear to all of you here? Anybody has a doubt in this? वी अप्लाइड सूडो फोर्स ना बेटा, तभी तो ये वाला टर्म आया ना। ये इक्वेशन वन जो हमने डिराइव किया था ना शिखर ऊपर, वो सूडो फोर्स के साथ ही तो किया था ना। सी वेयर इक्वेशन वन हैड कम फ्रॉम, सी है, यू टेकन सूडो फोर्स इनटू अकाउंट ना, दैट इज हाउ इक्वेशन वन हैज कम। सूडो फोर्स F1, तभी तो ऐसा है ना। Okay. So this part we've already done here, so that's why I'm using the equations directly. Okay, I did not make the free body diagram again. I was just calculating the value of A. So ये जो A आया ना यहाँ पे, this is in the non-inertial frame. That means it's the acceleration relative to which observer? The observer A, who's inside the elevator. So this is in the elevator's frame. So that is why in the ground frame, the acceleration is becoming different. The one that is going up, that will have an acceleration of A naught plus A, whereas the one that is coming down, that will have an acceleration of A minus A naught in the ground frame. That is the important thing now. This thing, now, once we found out this A, so with respect to the person on the ground, what is happening? This is going up at an even larger rate because it's going up at A inside a box which is going up at A naught. So its net acceleration is becoming A naught plus A upwards. Whereas this one, its net acceleration is becoming A minus A naught downwards. So that's where this comes in. Okay, so this concept is clear, I hope, to all of you. The concept of relative acceleration with respect to the elevator and how we have used pseudo force to find it. Okay, let's come to question 15, the one just before this. Okay, so question 15 is also a good one to understand the concept of pseudo force. True weight is the weight, is the actual gravitational force acting on a body. That is called true weight. Okay, so in most situations, your weighing machine is reading the true weight unless there is some reason why it's reading an error. So question 15, page 80 of H.C. Verma. Okay. So in general, when a person is standing on a weighing machine, the weighing machine reads, let's say N. So that reading, or let's say we use the symbol X for the reading of the weighing machine. So that X is nothing but the normal reaction divided by G, because what it measures is the normal reaction, but it gives the answer in kgs. So it just divides by G, where N is the normal contact force between the person and the surface of the weighing machine. Okay. So what is happening is on the person's body there is mg downwards and normal reaction upwards. So on the weighing machine, okay, there's this equal and opposite normal reaction, and that is a normal reaction that the weighing machine measures. Okay. The machine measures n and gives the answer in terms of kgs. So it gives the normal reaction divided by g like this. Okay. So this is the idea. So now, if we are in a situation where we are inside an elevator which is accelerated upwards. Okay. Now inside this elevator, what will be the reading? The reading x will be normal reaction divided by mass. Okay. So but this time when you consider the normal reaction, you can do one of two things. If you are in the non-inertial frame of the elevator, if you are in that frame, then on this person there is pseudo force, there is the true weight mg, and there is some normal reaction, let's say n1. So in this frame the body is at rest, so you can see that n1 is equal to m1 g plus m0. Okay, so the reading of the spring balance, let's say x1, will be n1 by g. So x1 will actually become m1 1 plus a0 by g. This will be the reading of the spring balance when the elevator is going up with an acceleration a0. Okay, you can also arrive at the same conclusion by looking at the free body diagram in ground frame. If you look at the same free body diagram in ground frame, you can come to the same conclusion, but by writing the equation differently, because in ground frame you see that what is happening is that that person inside the elevator, he seemed to be going up with an acceleration a0. Now, with respect to an observer on the ground, this body is going up. Okay, so the forces acting on it are only real forces. Okay, but the acceleration is not zero. The acceleration is now a0. So what this observer will conclude is that net force is equal to mass into acceleration. He will conclude this. Whereas this guy, what he had concluded was that normal reaction was mg plus pseudo force. Okay. And then he had replaced this. Okay. So here also you can see it's the same conclusion at the end of the day. Okay. The value of normal reaction will come out to be the same. So the reading of the spring balance will be the same. Weight is mg beta. Weight to force होता है ना, so g is acceleration due to gravity. It's not weight. Reading on the moon, it will show different, na? Because the gravitational force will be some mg by 6, because the acceleration due to gravity on the moon surface is 1/6 of that on the earth. Okay, you understanding this? Okay. Now second time, when in the 15th problem, back to that question, in the 15th question, second time when the lift is going at constant velocity, it's an inertial frame. So the when the lift is going at up at constant velocity, its acceleration is zero, is the inertial frame only. So the reading of the spring balance or the normal reaction will be equal to the true weight. So at that point of time, it will be showing the correct mass x will be equal to m. And in the third case, when the lift is accelerated downwards, at that point of time, let's say it's showing normal reaction n2. So that normal reaction will become mg minus a naught. So this time the reading of the spring balance will become this. So now you compare these two equations. So you can see that the true mass, or what you can think of like a true weight, is actually x. So from the above two equations, you can see it is x1 plus x2 by 2. So while accelerating upwards, if it's measuring 72 kgs, while accelerating downwards, it is measuring, or while decelerating, while going upwards, it's measuring some different thing. So if these two are 72 and 60, then the true mass or the true weight mass converted to weight later will become the average of 72 and 60. So that will be how much? 66. Is this explanation clear now? Question 15, this explanation is clear to all of you? Okay, good. Now next come to question 28. Go through question 28, I'll explain. So question 28 is one of those more difficult type of questions related to pseudo force. Difficult in the some terms of solving. Okay. Conceptually it's fine. Okay, so in this question, you can see what is happening is, Okay, so we have a combination of two pulleys like this. And then all these blocks. Right, so the masses of these blocks are given to us as okay, we have to find the condition. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. So you have to basically find how long it takes for M1 to hit the pulley. So you have to find its acceleration. So let's say M1 is going up with an acceleration E. So this pulley here, this will also come down with the same acceleration E. Okay. And let's say that with respect to the pulley, this has an upward acceleration and this has a downward acceleration. So in ground frame, this will have an acceleration of, let's say, A prime plus E, and this will have an upward acceleration of E prime minus E, where E prime is the acceleration of M2 upwards or M1 downwards, sorry, or M3 downwards. But that is with respect to relative to the pulley P. Okay. So therefore, in ground frame, M2 has an upward acceleration of E prime minus A, and M1 has a M3 has a downward acceleration of E prime plus A. Is this point clear to all of you? Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to find A. So for that we have to eliminate tension. Okay. So let's say the tension in this string is T. So because it's a massless pulley, the tension in this second string will become how much? Double of that. So if this is T prime, this will become 2T. Okay, so tension is clear to all of you people? Okay. So now it's just down to making the free body diagrams. So if you look at the free body diagrams, on this side M1 will obviously make it in the inertial frame. So in the ground frame it has an upward acceleration of E, and the forces acting on it are T prime or 2T, its own weight. So its equation becomes, that's my first equation. Now for M2 we have an option of making the free body diagram in the non-inertial frame coming down at A, that is the frame of pulley P. So if you look at M2 in the frame of pulley P, then what is happening? It is having an upward acceleration of E prime, whereas the forces acting on it are tension m2a, which is pseudo force acting opposite to acceleration. So okay, upwards and weight. Okay, so its equation will become and in the same non-inertial frame of the pulley P, which is coming down with the acceleration A, if we make the free body diagram of the third block M3, then this one is coming down with A prime. So the forces acting on it are tension T, pseudo force. तो सी pseudo force में जो acceleration term है वो किसका acceleration है? Frame का acceleration है. Whereas इस frame में body का acceleration कितना है? That is A prime. So this is the acceleration relative to the pulley or in the non-inertial frame of the pulley. Same here. This is the acceleration relative to the pulley P or in the non-inertial frame. Okay. So for this, the equation will become m3g minus t minus m3a is equal to m3a prime. So this is becoming my third equation. So now we have to solve these three equations to find out a. Okay, understood this. So just go through this and absorb this information first, and then we can look at remaining things later. अरे pseudo force क्या होता है बेटा? शिखर, सी pseudo force is minus of mass of the body into acceleration of the frame. तो यहाँ पे acceleration of the frame क्या है? It is E downwards. So pseudo force should be in which direction? Opposite to it. It should be upwards. Understood now? So both the bodies M2 and M3, if you're looking at them in the pulley's frame, the pulley is coming down with A, so they will experience pseudo force opposite to A, na, upwards. अरे मूविंग अप और मूविंग डाउन से मतलब नहीं है ना बेटा. स्यूडो फोर्स का डायरेक्शन तो फ्रेम के एक्सलेशन से मतलब है, बॉडी के एक्सलेशन से नहीं है. फ्रेम तो नीचे आ रहा है ना बेटा ए से. अरे बट दैट इज what we have written down as the definition of pseudo force, na? Understood? Okay. Okay, so next up let us put the values in this equations and solve them. So see, our equation 1 will become like this: 2t minus g is equal to E, because m1 is equal to 1 kg. Then our equation 2 will become t plus 2a minus 2g is equal to 2a prime. Okay. And our equation 3 will become 3g minus t minus 3a will become 3a prime. So these three equations now we have to solve. So one thing we can do is we can just add all of them. So that will get rid of tension, because we have 2t, t and t. So we will get okay, so we add the equations, we will get 3g minus 3a, then plus 2a minus 2g minus g is equal to a plus 5a prime. So we'll get some equation like this. So I think g will cancel out, and we'll get this simple relation that minus just a second. Oh, sorry, I have done the operation wrong. Yeah, t does not cancel out that. Correct. Wait. T को cancel करने के लिए we have to add these two equations. Wait, not all three equations. Add equation 2 plus 3, then tension gets eliminated. So do this: equation 2 plus equation 3. So t gets eliminated. Okay. So we get 3 times g minus a minus 2 times g minus a is 3 plus 2a prime. So we get this relation that g minus a is equal to 5a prime. Okay. And also, if you eliminate between equation 1 and 2, so what you do is you take equation 1 and you add it with 2 times equation 3. So 2t minus g is equal to a, that's equation 1, and this will become 6g minus 2t minus 6a is equal to 6a prime. That will become 2 times equation 3. Now we add these two, so you will get 5g minus 6a is equal to 6a prime. Okay. So between this equation and this equation, now you can eliminate a prime. So a prime from the first equation is how much? It is g minus a by 5. And from the second equation, it is 5g minus 6a by 6. Okay. So 6 times g minus a would be equal to 5 times 5g minus 6a. So 30 minus 6a will become 25 minus 6g. So acceleration will come out to be something like this: 19 by 24. Which equation will come a plus 6a prime? 1 plus twice of 3. Okay, let's see. So 2t minus g is this 6 minus, okay. We are getting 5g minus 6a. Oh, yes, yes, yes. This is, wait. There's a slight modification here. So this side is coming 6g minus g. So that's 5g minus 6a. And this side will come a plus 6a prime. Okay. So let's write this like this, that this is 2t minus g minus a is equal to 0. And this equation is 6g minus 2t minus 3a, sorry, minus 6a. So we are adding these two now. So we get 5g minus 7a is equal to 6a prime. Let's check, is this is the equation we are getting? Yeah. So this solving will become a little different. So this and this now we will solve. So a prime from here is g minus a by 5, and from here is 5g minus 7a by 6. So 35 minus 6 e. On the other hand, come out to be 25 plus, sorry, 25 minus 6 g. So we'll get the acceleration e to be 19 by 29 g. And e prime will come out to be g minus a by 5. So 1 minus 19 by 25 g by 5. So that is 19 by 29. Okay. So 1 minus 19 by 29 will give us 10 by 29. So this will become 2 by 29 g. So once you got your e prime, now you'll realize that now one thing very important finally is that m1 is having an acceleration of a in ground frame. Okay. So m1 has an upward acceleration of a equal to 19 by 29 g. But m2 on the other side, it in with respect to ground frame, उसका acceleration कितना है? It is e prime plus a. Because it was going with respect, sorry, it is e prime minus a upwards. Okay, so it is this minus this. So it is 17 by 29 g upwards in the ground frame. And similarly, m3, it's coming down with an acceleration of e prime plus a. So that is this plus this. So that is 21 by 29 g downwards. So these are the individual accelerations of m1, m2 and m3 with respect to ground frame. So that is also an important concept to understand here. Okay. So just make a note of this, people. Yeah, what happened, Sarvesh? What do you want me to tell? Bata. You have to solve entire HC Verma. I told you Newton's laws of motion के सारे questions करने हैं आपको. I've completed Newton's laws of motion concept. So okay. Shikhar 30 is very easy. You have to just make the two free body diagrams. So anyway, is this question clear to all of you? 28 is clear. 31 na? Yeah, 31 I will solve. Yeah. 31 is that you have to use the constraint relation that we were discussing about earlier. Okay, so this thread which is going around this pulley, ये ऐसे आके यहाँ पे इससे attached है. It's attached to this rod. So this is a fixed point where the thread is attached. Okay, whereas so this is a block of mass m. This is a block of mass 2m, and this is a massless pulley. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now the first thing we have to understand is that अगर इसका acceleration a है, so इसका acceleration कितना होगा? Okay. So for that you will have to understand that नहीं 2a होगा बेटा. Okay, let me explain why. See, so if this pulley plus this block, it moves by x, so how much thread length it is releasing? It's releasing 2x now. So यहाँ पे how much displacement this will have to have? You have to have 2x. That's right. So this acceleration will become 2a. Okay. Or another way to understand this is that there's tension acting like this. Okay. So on the 2m block, you can see there's a net tension of 2t acting, and it's moving in this direction by x, let's say. On the m block, there's a tension t acting, and it's moving in this direction by displacement y. So net work done. Okay. So okay. So therefore, if this is block 2 and this is block 1, the diagram is there in HC Verma beta. Question 31. Just go through it, you'll understand the diagram. Diagram and explanation is there, Rahil, in question 31. This pulley V is attached to this block of 2M, और ये दूसरा थ्रेड इसके रॉड से कनेक्ट होके इस पुली के अराउंड जाके फिर ए के अराउंड जाके ऐसे it's used to vertically suspend the other block M. Okay. So now just make the FBTs. So next thing, you just make the free body diagrams. So for 2M block in inertial frame only, there's only one horizontal force acting 2T, which is giving it an acceleration A. So you have 2T is equal to mass into acceleration, which is A. And for the block of mass M, there is, but its acceleration is 2A. Again, this is also an inertial frame. This one has an acceleration A prime, let's say, of 2A. So we have mg minus t is equal to m into 2A. Now we just solve these two equations. Okay. Of course, there is also weight and normal reaction acting on this, but they cancel each other. So solve these two equations. इसको 2 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दो और इसके साथ ऐड कर दो. So we'll get 2mg is 2 plus 4 ma. So E will come out to be g by 3. So the horizontally moving block will have an acceleration of g by 3. The vertically moving block will have an acceleration of 2g by 3. Okay. Now let's also come to part C of this question. Okay. So part A and B are done. As part A is done, we have found the acceleration of capital M, that will be twice of this 2g by 3. Let's also do part B and part C. Just go through the question, I'll explain. Okay, so now you can see that the block M will have a downward acceleration of 2g by 3. Okay. So part A of the question was acceleration of block M. So that will become downward acceleration of this much. So 2g by 3 downwards. Okay. Now second thing was tension in the thread. So for that just substitute in equation 1. So from equation 1, 2t is equal to 2ma. So T is equal to ma. So tension is equal to mg by 3. Okay, so that's the answer to this part. And the third part, you have to find the net reaction force on the clamp. Yeah, we'll just wind up a couple of more minutes. We'll finish this question and wind up. Yeah, we won't be able to cover the module doubts today. We will take them up in the lecture in the week. This week's lecture also we'll discuss doubts only because we are done with theory of Newton's laws. So before we start with friction, we'll finish all the questions and everything. So now if you see this pulley which is on the clamp, इस पे क्या क्या फोर्स लग रहा है, इस पे एक टेंशन ऐसा लग रहा है और एक टेंशन ऐसा लग रहा है, and it doesn't have any weight, but there's some kind of reaction force acting through the clamp. Okay, so if you make the proper free body diagram of that pulley, you will see that one tension is horizontal, one tension is vertical. Their vector sum is along this 45-degree line. So the reaction force has to exactly balance that. So the net force has to be 0. So okay, so this is the reaction force on the pulley applied by the clamp. Okay. Remember the pulley is massless, so there is no weight factor, otherwise there'd be mg of the pulley also. And the other thing you have to understand is that the string, the lower part of the string, and it was connected here, it's not connected to the pulley, so it does not apply tension. It's only the upper part of the string and the vertical part of the string, these two apply tension. Understood now, na Shikhar? Yeah, that is the important part. See the string, it is connected like this. ये वाला part यहाँ से connected है, not with the pulley. So that was the situation. Like this. Okay, so this tension and this tension are having an effect on the pulley, but this tension is not having any effect on the pulley. It's acting on the clamp. So this is an important small little point to catch over here. That's where this book is excellent for practicing out all the related issues of Newton's laws. So please keep the first priority for this week of completing each and every question of H.C. Verma, Newton's laws. Okay, beginning to end each and every question right up to 42, and then the module. If you complete all the questions of H.C. Verma this week and discuss any doubts, etc., with me, you will not have any difficulty with the test coming up on Saturday, the DCT test, which is for Newton's laws of motion. Okay, so that's it for today's class, people. I will send you the recording and the whiteboard. But as I said, like, we will discuss doubts in the class also. Okay, we have one lecture this week also. We'll discuss during that.